Hey gang, it is Jamie here for our weekly video of encouragement, and we are talking about summer camps this week. Yay, it's summer. It was the first day of summer yesterday. I am so excited. I did not get in my summer solstice walk at like 9 p.m. A little tied up, so I'm a little sad. I might have to do that tonight. I just geek out over the fact that I can take a walk at 9 o'clock at night and it's still daylight. My college roommate is in Alaska and she's from there, and she upped me last year when I posted about my longest day of the year walk, and she actually climbs a mountain at midnight in Alaska on June 21st every year. I told her I'm going there sometime to climb up there with her on the longest day of the year. It sounds so fun. And it was so pretty. Her pictures were way better than my walk around the neighborhood picture. Hey, Anna, good to see you. So anyways, it is summer. Happy summertime. And I want to talk about summer camp with you guys. Our family has come so far on this topic and this experience of camps, and I hope that you will be encouraged with how stinking far we have come with this. So there's quite a bit of stuff here inside of membership over the past years that we have compiled, and it's funny because it goes all the way back to our first days of doing camp for our family when my kids were littler. And I have a funny story. Miles came home on his break today from work, which is working a summer camp, which we're going to talk about too. And he made a just off the cuff comment about his excitement for upcoming camp. And I was so glad I hadn't done this video yet because it is the perfect story to tell. So I was like, do tell me a little bit more. I'm going to be doing a video about this, so I would love to hear what you're talking about. So I will share that in a second too. So we're going to go chronologically. Let's go back to the beginning when we first started membership here years ago. My kiddos were younger, and definitely overnight camp seemed absolutely impossible. Of course, Miles had his milk and his nut allergies, anaphylactic, carried the EpiPens. Homeschooled. I pretty much navigated a lot of his allergy life, and if not all of it, a lot. And so yeah, I did not ever dream. I mean, those are the things I stayed up crying about at night, not gonna lie, that how is he ever gonna go to camp? How is he ever gonna go to school? How is he ever gonna go to college? How is he ever gonna get married? And whatever, like all the things, like how are they gonna do this on their own? As you know, he's now 17, and I love to take the opportunity in membership to just share how far we have progressed in this food allergy life, and how these kids really do gain the independence and the self-managing of their allergies as is appropriate, and it just progresses and progresses. And we have seen that, and I love to share that with you guys. So when we first started, of course, our food allergy journey, 17 years ago, I did not envision how any normal life things could happen safely with food allergies. As we began membership several years ago, he was kind of coming up on that age where camps were becoming a thing, and I still didn't know how we would do it. And so we kind of baby stepped through a lot of through the years. So the first camp that we did were day camps, and I was there. So if you go into our member library, and if I don't remember to link those and you really want the quick link, let me know and I will help you with that. But one of the first videos we did was Miles going to a soccer camp that was daytime for a week, and I literally sat off way to the side. Nobody saw me, but I was there making sure that the few hours a day that he did at soccer camp went well, and he had no issues. And I did a video inside of membership right from my lawn chair saying, oh my gosh, my kiddo's going to soccer camp. I'm just sitting over here and out of the way, but I'm here and this is pretty exciting. So I have that video for you guys. Then pretty near around that time, we started doing these academic camps. We were homeschooling and we had this summer conference. It was like a 3-day thing. And this was an opportunity to do an all-day camp where the soccer one was just a couple hours a day. So this was the all-day camp. And I was there as a leader in the allergy group, and as a mom, like all the families attended. And so I put my kiddos in the all-day camp for a few days, and I did a video from there just saying we had to navigate snacks and lunch hour, but I was there and I was just kind of sharing how that was working for us, and it worked great. Then you fast forward, and I have that video too in our library. Then you fast forward to the last few years, and I never thought that overnight camp would be an option. But a few years ago, the boys' youth group was going to a remote area in another state for overnight camp. I think it was 1 night or 2 nights. Can't remember. You guys, this stuff is so important to us, and then you end up forgetting. It's so crazy. I think maybe we started with a 1 night, and then we did a weekend, and then we did like a 4 night, but we were progressing through how many nights the kids were staying overnight. When they went far away from home, Jeff and I, a few years ago, booked a hotel. I guess that was 2 nights, because I remember staying 2 nights in a hotel, and we stayed nearby. We talked to the cooks. I have videos on that inside of our library too, overnight camp, and just shared with you guys how we were preparing for that. It worked great communicating with the cook at this small overnight camp for a weekend. And then we progressed to the 4-night overnight camp that's about 45 minutes from our house. And Jeff and I made ourselves super available. I think we spent the night 1 night nearby. I was at home taking food halfway through the camp. This was a big one, so we've done small ones for less days, and we've done big. This was like 1,000 kids, so it was hard to talk to the cook. There actually was more than one cook, a whole staff in this one. And so I just had to kind of talk to the main camp organizers about how we would navigate food allergy. And it basically was that it was a salad bar, and Miles could have all of his food in a refrigerator. The first year that he went, we found out he was standing in line twice. We were like, Miles, you don't have to do that. So that was a learning curve for us. He would stand in line twice to figure out what the food was, go back and get in line, and wait again with 1,000 kids. We were like, no, Miles, you just cut the line, figure out what's the food, and get in line once. You do not have to get in line twice. And he was like separated from his friends, so we had kind of a learning curve on that one, but you got to figure it out. He's actually going to that camp, I think, for the 3rd time this coming weekend. So the boys are very excited about the 4-night, 5-day overnight camp, kind of like dorm rooms, 45 minutes away without Jeff and I staying, or I don't think we're going to spend the night any nights nearby. He kind of knows he does know how the food system works. He's 17. We want him to have his EPIs with him at all time. The one thing is the kids aren't supposed to have their phones, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But my kids with their asthma and the food allergies do carry like a medical bag. You guys know our favorite backpacks, and they carry those with the allergy asthma tag on it, so people know it's a medical bag, and they will have their phones with them in case of an emergency, so they do not have to rely on somebody else to get them help as quickly as possible if it is needed. And they use the phones very responsibly. They know that it's for an emergency, and it works out well. Then they progressed on to a 5-night camp overnight. It's actually closer to our house, about 20 to 30 minutes, and totally got to connect with the family in charge of it and the cook who cooks all the food. She's amazing because she will make Miles and other kids that have food allergies safe food that they can have. She'll make like dairy-free mac and cheese. Instead of saying, oh, you can't have mac and cheese or nixing it from the menu, she'll actually make a safe version. I will talk about this in some of our past videos. OIT is what makes me comfortable with that. If we did not have that protection with his milk OIT, it would probably be more bringing his own food and not trusting people to make food for him. But we are at a place where we can do that because of food allergy treatment. And he will say that that has made it totally worth it to do all these years of desensitizing. So he is very happy that he is at that place. But I do have a fun caveat to that as well. A couple things that I have needed to do, I did this week, was to ask Dr. Siri for an updated action plan for both of the boys. Now, the ironic thing is they are working full time, you guys, at summer camp. So not only have they been attending these camps, but they have the past 2 years, maybe 3, been hired by the local church down the road for us doing daytime camps for kids. And both of my boys love working and helping with that. It comes in so handy because they have asthma and allergies, and they can really help the kiddos in those cases. Graham really was helping a camper. It's kindergarten to 8th grade, and one of them was having an asthma attack or just bad asthma. They were on some field trip, and they got her inhaler, and he got to help her. So it makes me so happy that I have seen us coming full circle on this, where I was the parent wishing that somebody was around who understood, and not knowing that my kids would be able to do this someday, to them being educated and learning how to manage their own allergic conditions and being able to help other kids, or just to even say, hey, I have an inhaler, even if there's not an emergency, just to be able to know that the kiddos that carry EpiPens or inhalers, just to be able to relate to them and let them know that they're not the only ones, and to kind of be role models. So that is very exciting for me to see as a mom. So they are working at this day camp every single day. And you guys, not just, like I said, not just showing up and being there in a church, but they are going on field trips like crazy. So it also ties in the whole fact that I always worried about how my kids would go on field trips, to leave the premises and go somewhere and navigate food at these kind of places. This camp is crazy, and the kids hop on buses and go bowling and go skating and go to the water parks and go putt-putting, go to escape rooms. They are going on hikes, all kinds of things, and my kids are the counselors that are helping take care of the kids on all these field trips. So where I went from worrying about my kids on field trips to being the supervisors of these field trips, which is so crazy, but also so cool at the same time. So one thing that the camp tells the kids is no phones. And so, of course, the campers at this day camp need to put their phones away. Totally great. So the kids can enjoy the summer screen free during the day every day. They also encourage the counselors. There's like main counselors who have their phones, but they encourage the helper counselors, which are my boys, not to have their phones either. And I was like, the boys let me know that, and I was like, you guys really need your phones with you. If you're going on these field trips, if one of the kids has an emergency or you have an emergency, your phone to you is as important as your inhaler and your EpiPen. I never thought about this really as an allergy mom. I mean, I have, and we've talked about it before. My boys, just when people say put your phones up, they listen and they do what they're told. They don't question it. And just as an allergy mom who's done this so long and knows that that phone is a lifeline to 911, or at least calling me to ask about ingredients or safe food. I mean, they are becoming so independent, but they still need a little crutch every once in a while with my help. So I'm like, you guys really need your phone. I'm like, you need to tell the person in charge, because they've been doing all the communicating with their boss this summer, which is great. I'm like, you really need to let her know with your asthma, with your food allergies, that your phone is part of your medical plan. And of course, you're not going to be on it for goofing off, but you're going to need it for emergencies, especially going on these field trips to do these different places, and even going out of town on these field trips. So Graham's field trip literally this week was 2 hours away. Hiking and horseback riding. And I was like, you are taking your phone. Mom's trumping the boss, and you are going to have your phone with you. So anyway, they did let her know, but in the midst of all of that, just realizing, oh my gosh, I literally have to beg my kids to take their phones. I got asked Dr. Siri to update their action plans, and that's to say, especially as teenagers who are independently managing these potentially life-threatening conditions, that their phone access is paramount for their safety. So we have added into their action plans, they were emailed to me today, that both boys with a food allergy action plan and an asthma action plan, that they need their medication, and that's listed out, and their phones. Like I said, I mean, I don't care if they're on, you know, it's not a matter of me trying to reach them. It's more them trying to reach me. If they need me, they can turn it on and ask for help. Worst case, they can call 911 on their own without waiting on somebody. So just something I totally came out of left field, like not thinking how important. I mean, everybody always has their phones on them. So, and kids are getting them so young. My kids didn't have them till they were 13, but they were with me all the time with homeschooling and stuff. So, yeah, just an issue. There's always, their kids are getting older, but we just keep having things pop up. And as they do, I jot it down and want to share it with you guys. So the boys are getting ready to leave. They will have their phones and their medications as they go to this 45-minute away, 1,000 kid church camp. I don't know yet. I may take Miles' food halfway like we did before. I mean, where I go like 2 days in and restock his food. We'll see. Don't totally have a plan yet. We need to go shopping for the food. But I have done videos on what we packed before, so I don't want to go through all of that again, but you can find those videos, or if you want and I don't get it linked here, let me know and I'll find the links for you guys. But the last story I want to share is also they will be going to the cabin camping that's 20 minutes from our house, 5 nights. Miles came home with walking pneumonia one year when he was helping. Not only are they attending that camp as high schoolers, but another week they each are volunteering to be junior counselors at that camp as well. So they are really making the most of all of these camping opportunities in the summer, which makes our schedule in summer super fun. Working the day camp, volunteering the cabin camping for a week, attending 2 different camps, 2 different weeks, 2 different totally experiences, but within an hour from home on each. So I think I've said before, it's just, there's things that sometimes you worry that your kids won't be able to do, and you kind of stress and you cry at night and it keeps you up. But it's proven over the years that if there's something that's important to you, it works out. Works out. So that is how it worked with our sports and homeschooling and not knowing about camps and vacations and things like that. It works out. So that, I just want to encourage those of you who may have the little ones right now thinking, I cannot ever imagine them leaving my site or somebody else ever doing their food or that. ever doing their food on their own. Now, again, if somebody were to pack all of their own food and not trust a camp to make their food at all, I would not blame you at all. And I wouldn't even push somebody to say you should really send your kid to camp, because that is not me at all. I am the mom who homeschooled and really held on to my kids pretty tightly with their safety and tried to be, you know, as safe as possible, and knowing that the buck stopped with me. Like, I'm protecting them. I'm going to do what I need to do. But the encouragement here is that you never know. The things that you imagine could never be possible are probably more possible than you can imagine. And the degree to possibility that my kids are working these camps right now is mind-blowing. We went from like 0 to 60 in 15 years, and it's crazy to me, and I'm so thankful. I mean, they're, like I said, working, volunteering, attending. The summer is just full of fun, and they're having a blast. So want to end this encouragement on this fun story. So at the cabin camping that the boys do 20 minutes from here, we ended up good friends with the family that runs it. Miles' best friend is their kid, and they live on the campground. And he came home at lunch today and I said, are we gonna go shopping for food for camp? And he said, oh my gosh, I am so excited for Allergy Corner. And I said, what's Allergy Corner? And he said, he goes, well, that's when Trading Post happens, which is what they call it when they open the concession stand at this campground, and the kids can buy snacks at the Trading Post. And over the past, I guess really my kids started doing this camp last year. Miles had a whole bag of his own safe snacks. Well, it turns out, and I think I've shared this before, that there were like 6 kids who were dairy free at this outdoor cabin camping, and there really wasn't that many kids. It wasn't the 1,000-person camp, that's for sure. I mean, maybe under 100. And all these kids, and lots of them go to Miles's high school, were dairy free, either lactose intolerant or food allergy. And so they kind of started this thing last year where they, instead of going to Trading Post, they got a little corner in the cafeteria or the mess hall or whatever you would call it, and they would go to the kitchen and pull their snacks out of the refrigerator, their safe snacks that they had stashed in there. And they just stayed in their little allergy group eating their safe snacks, and they thought it was so fun. So Miles just referred to it as Allergy Corner earlier, and just said how they goofed off so much. I know that they traded food, which would probably make some of you guys nervous. I made sure my kiddo had all the labels on his things and encouraged him, you did check people's labels, right? Yes. He said, so Allergy Corner is apparently a thing. He said, I know I need 3 things for sure for snacks for this camp. I need Oreos, I need Teddy Grahams, and I need mayonnaise. You guys, I'm not asking. This must be a camp thing. I mean, the first 2 made sense. The mayonnaise has me concerned. Not safety concerned as much as grossed out concerned. He said it doesn't have to be a whole container, just like one of those little packets from a restaurant or something will be fine. So I told him, I said, I'm not even gonna ask. And he said, nope, you shouldn't. And we left it at that. But inside, I was super tickled. I said, so you like doing your own thing with the other kids, the dairy-free kids? He's like, oh yeah, it's like the best part. So you guys, all these years where we stress and fret that our kids are gonna be left out or excluded, and don't get me wrong, that happens. I mean, we've had tears over pizza parties and things like that, but to see my kid just own it and be like, we have different food, we hang out, and we have a lot of fun. Just makes my heart happy. Again, and just owning that it's different and his situation is not the same, and he doesn't get to go to the trading post and buy all the things. I think there are things there that are safe, but they just had so much fun with their own dairy-free snacks. So it turned out he ended up making good friends with several of these kids. They stormed my house all summer last year for dairy-free baked goods, and they had so much fun, and I had so much fun meeting them all and making food for them. I think I've talked about that in the group too. Hey Renee, good to see you. So yeah, I just thought that was a great way to end this encouraging video today, that 17 years old, loving that he gets to go have some fun, some freedom. Like a lot of the moms of the college kids have said, like, these are the great baby steps that give them some practice, and it just feels right because it's time. When it's time, it feels like it's time. So that is totally the case with us. I do love that Graham is in the trenches with Miles on these things too, and he has his own things with his asthma. It's totally exercise induced, and these camps call for a lot of exercise, so that inhaler is being used. But they are just having so much fun, and so we are going to go shopping for camp snacks for this first round here tonight or tomorrow. And I know that I've done videos and sheets in the binder library and blog posts, just sharing all this stuff along the way. It's actually helping me. I'm going back to it to refer to what our lists were. So hopefully that stuff is helpful to you too. If you have a hard time finding it, the first place to look is in the member library. And then you can also search camp, summer camp, camps here in the member groups, and see lots of discussions too. And we are starting some fresh discussions this week because our kids are growing and different ages than last year. And so some of the posts we just want to be nice and fresh so we can hear what camps your kiddos are going to, how you're navigating that, and just cheering you guys on. I know it can be a stressful time, but it can also be such a rewarding time of growth and stuff for the kids. Of course, do what is best for your family. Again, not saying send your 3-year-old to overnight camp for 2 weeks. I definitely progressed through the years on what we were comfortable with, starting with being a pretty helicopter mom when it came to summer camp, actually being a no mom at first, and being pretty involved with my hands and everything, and just kind of loosening the reins as the years go on. I mean, Miles will be going to college next year, so summer camp on, kid. Just keep practicing and have fun in Allergy Corner, for crying out loud. Allergy Corner with Oreos, Teddy Grahams, and mayonnaise. I feel like that's all that needs to be said. Renee said, we just went to camp. They have dairy-free meals and an adjusted cooking class. That is awesome. I am so happy for you guys. Please, please share your camp stories with us. The success stories, anything that was concerning, anything that you would do differently. We learn so much from each other here. I learned so much from you guys. So please look through this week's featured posts about camp. Share your stories, share your tips, your encouragement. We learn so much when we all contribute something. If you are scared to death and don't see this ever being a possibility for you, let us know. We are here to send you hugs and prayers and encouragement, and we are here for you no matter where you are on the camp spectrum in food allergy life. So just want to share these stories with you to encourage you. I have been across the board pretty much when it comes to thinking about and doing camps with our kids in the summer. Happy summer no matter what. If you are not doing camps, we hope you guys are having a great time with family time, the pools and the parks and the field trips and all the things. It does not take camp to have fun. in the summer, that is for sure. So rest in that as well if you are still just not ready to dive into this world of camp yet. And just let us know. Share your stories. We can't wait to hear. My kids are going to be getting home from day camp work, and as usual, I love to hear how the day went. Lots of fun, crazy stories. That's what summer is for. And I hope you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you again soon. Bye.